You stick out like a sore thumb. You know that? I suppose that makes finding you easier, though it's hardly good for meeting an informant. Normally things like this are kept on the down low. But who am I to give you a dress code? I'll have what they're having. So, you're the hero around here. Interesting choice. I would have chosen someone taller. I can't say much about that, though. If the Ministry of Affairs trust you, I'm inclined to say you do good work. That being said, let's get down to business. I came here to deliver some important information for you to pass along. Let's find someplace more quiet to talk. My area of choice for occasions like this. Take a seat. Comfortable and quiet. What more could you ask for? Now, to the matter at hand. I have information regarding the current location of a certain band of Fatui members. They averted our eyes for long enough, but due to something of a slip-up, I was able to track them to where they've been hiding. It seems to be a very elementary research lab near the Dunny ruins. This came as a surprise, to be entirely honest. I was expecting a much bigger operation. I stayed for a couple of days to confirm that there was nothing larger happening, but failed to see anything that could ring any alarms. I don't want to treat it as a fluke, but I'm certain it's not nearly as much of a threat as the Ministry believes it is. I won't become careless in my monitoring, but I certainly don't think it's as big a deal as it's been made out to be. I have eyes on them for the next week, though, so I will remain vigilant until I'm called back. Unfortunately, that's all the news I have to give you. But I'm glad that I'm not the only one surprised by this outcome. The Fatui are usually much more ambitious. This feels like a letdown. I considered the possibility of it being a decoy camp, but surveying the area, I found nothing of interest. The guards stay while some come and go, but it doesn't appear that they're moving anything big there for the time being. What say you? Why ask for your opinion? From what I've heard, you've dealt with your fair share of Fatui members. I'm sure you could recognize if they had something up their sleeve. You're right. It's not uncommon for them to set up smaller plans, but my main concern is them perhaps setting up smaller camps in multiple areas to form something larger scale. Until we can find concrete proof of that happening, I doubt I'll be authorized to do any further digging. Though I hold no grudge for the Ministry of Affairs, I can recognize that the pedantics aren't always something that works in our favor. They often stress the importance of things that take far too long to get anything done on their end. That's more of a them problem, though. Perhaps one day they'll learn that the paperwork can really push important things to the back of the line, and potentially get them in trouble. Until a change happens, I have to follow their rules. I wish I had more to report, but that's all I have. Though, if I find anything worth noting, I'll call for another meeting with you. Oh, we're far from done. I gave you what you needed to know. I hope you have something for me in return. Oh, traveler, that's no way to do good business. I like an exchange that is mutually beneficial. In other words, I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Doesn't that seem more fair? That's what I like to hear. Now, from the information given to you, how would you go about this situation? Have you seen a pattern like this before? I see. So I wasn't very far off. Then again, that was only a hypothesis. There has to be something of concrete evidence I could use to urge the Ministry of Affairs to grant me an extra set of hands for more in-depth research. I doubt they would allow that on a hunch alone. I see. Something similar happened in Mondstadt. Perhaps, if that is passed along, it will urge them to treat this with more caution. Hopefully, they will forgo the whole decision-making process, and we can nip it in the roots before it becomes a big problem. What say you? Would you be able to be convincing enough for them to consider? They can be very hard set in their ways. There has to be another way to get a more desirable outcome here. Perhaps you could volunteer yourself as an extra set of hands. You're more of a lone wolf when it comes to your work, right? Since you aren't particularly employed by the Ministry or the Qixing, I doubt you'd have to jump through the same hoops that most others do. This may be a good selling point. Wait, you're telling me that you had an encounter with a Fatui Harbinger? That's something you would normally start with, in terms of importance at least. Depending on what happened, that alone could urge the Ministry to deal with this appropriately, without having to convince them about anything. What did you see? Ah, the red-headed one. Tartaglia's his name, I believe? He's quite the character, but certainly not one to mess with. He unknowingly helped me win the territory of the Yansheng Tea House by demanding debt payment from the former owner. I had a large investigation plan, but with him taken care of, I didn't need to see that through. It turned into a most useful base. So it was him. I wonder what he's up to. Do you think there's a connection to the Fatui camp and him? You're right. If they are connected, there's no time to lose. I'll seek a meeting with Ningguang right away. That should bypass even needing to bring it up to anyone else. I was almost excited to have another drink, since I'm not due back at the Ministry of Affairs office for another 30 minutes or so. Since this may be truly serious, I suppose that idea is out the window. Huh? Though I take my jobs very seriously, overexerting myself doesn't help anyone. Taking breaks is a necessary evil, and it's one I particularly enjoy. I would have been sleeping until about noon if not for this job. It's not all bad, though. You have a good head on your shoulders, and you're quite the conversationalist. You picking a good, non-alcoholic drink certainly helped your case, too. I never would have tried it if not for you. So, I suppose that deserves a thanks. All right, don't push it. But you're right, we should be leaving. That should cover the drinks. Wait about 5 or so minutes to leave. I don't want anyone getting suspicious. Well then, I'll be seeing you.
Hey guys, this is Gentle GF. Thank you so much for watching. I was so nervous to try doing a Yelan audio as she's quite out of my range, But I hope you enjoyed this one regardless. I really thought that she was going to be an all-business sort of character, but it's nice to see that she enjoys napping just as much as I do. Now, if you liked this audio, go ahead and give this video a like and hit subscribe. If you're looking to support me on other platforms, you can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, or check out my Ko-fi. There you can find Gentle GF merch and custom ASMR commission slots. All links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening. Mwah!